Welcome back then folks to more builds in the world of Forza Horizon 5. This time, as you'll have seen from the title and as you'll also see later on today for the other build I'm going to do, these are a bit different. They're not just my usual, maxed out speed builds. I had requests from a few of you, in fact over the years really, I've had requests to do more than just speed, do like certain classes or certain purposes, off-road, on-road, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to do as well. This one is a vehicle which, of course, is a barn find, the Ford F100, the classic truck. This has, in every single Forza game that it's featured in, been a really good truck in terms of lower class racing. So like motorway stuff, it was really good. But for this one, I've decided to change things up a little bit to make it a all-round D-Class car. So you've got all-wheel drive, up around 360 horsepower, which is really good for D-Class. It's quick off the line. Top speed is up around 140 miles an hour, which is also good for the lower classes. The handling is definitely better on-road, but it's designed to be used on and off. So in other words, if you've got one of these trucks, or if you just want something where you can, as you'll see soon, take on unbeatable AI and still beat them with relative ease, to be honest, then this might be the car for you. So, as far as the conversions go, and incidentally, if you want to grab exactly what I've done, just like with the speed builds, you can enter the code 164174 and that will just get exactly what I've done here straight onto your car. If though you want to change a few things, and particularly for a build like this, you might want to, de-chroming, changing the rims, various other stuff, which of course you can change, and those will affect the point level, but again, that's down to you. So as far as the engine, we've left the standard motor in there, but of course pretty heavily modified. All-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. As far as the aspiration, we've gone for the twin turbo. As far as the aero, I haven't done anything to it. You can technically remove the front bumper or the rear bumper if you wanted to, but I personally prefer the look with it on there. As far as the tyres, we've left those standard. For the tyre size in terms of width, they're standard on the front and raised on the rear, or increased on the rear in other words. Standard rims, as you can tell. As far as power, if we run through it, we've got the racing air intake, then we've got the standard carburetor, the standard ignition. As far as the valves, that's also standard. For the cams, that is maxed out, because the cams, and this is a top tip, if you can fit cams to your car in any class that will allow it in terms of points, depending on what you're trying to build, I would always recommend going for that as your first point of call, because it drastically improves top-end power, top-end speed, it improves your revs, just across the board, it makes your engine more responsive. There's so many benefits of camming your car in the game. As far as your exhaust, I've gone for the sport exhaust for two reasons. One, because it actually sounds better than the racing one, which is a bit vain, I know, but still, it's nice to have a fun car that sounds good as well, and also, of course, for the power increase. For the displacement, we've increased that a little bit. I want to say it's, a 4 litre, 4.7, so yeah, a bit bigger than standard. Standard pistons, the turbos are upgraded to the race. You could, I guess, go for anti-lag if you want to. I personally don't really like anti-lag in this game, so I would recommend not doing that. As far as the flywheel, that is the street level, so just a slight upgrade there. Likewise with the race oil and cooling, we've gone for, well, the maximum one. That does add a bit of weight, so, you could change it depending on if you want to mix and match a few other things to change that. We've got the street intercooler as well. Of course, that also does add a bit of weight, but you get a bit of extra horsepower as well. As far as the brakes, of course, the handling is extremely important, and the stopping power, especially for a lower level car, needs to be as good as its acceleration and top-end speed. So we've gone for the racing brakes. For the suspension, that is off-road spec, because like I said, I wanted this to be both an on- and off-road tune, so that you can use it for street racing, circuit racing, off-road racing, overland racing, basically use it for everything without actually changing anything. I really love cars and builds that can do that, like an all-round kind of car, a decathlon kind of car, if you will, or a triathlon car. We've got the upgraded roll bars on the front and the back. The anti-roll, or I guess I should say the roll cage, isn't actually upgraded on this one. The weight isn't either, but it's actually not that heavy. Just under 1,600 kilos is really good. Of course, for its age, a lot of cars aren't as heavy as they look back then, classics and vintage. As far as the transmission, I have upgraded it to the 7-speed. Of course, when you've got less power and a lower category, working the gearbox does improve your performance. We've got the race driveline as well, and I've opted for the off-road spec diff. Doesn't really matter too much as far as the diff which one you go for, because we're going to be changing it anyway. We've gone for 32 psi on the tyres, but if you look down there, you can see 7.3 second 0 to 60 time. Doesn't really sound that quick in Forza terms, but that's not bad for D-Class, and just under 140 miles an hour. So, like I said, it's an all-rounder. So handling, braking, grip, it's got plenty of grip, that's for sure. It's quick off the line, and the top-end speed for D-Class is good. It's not designed to be the absolute best at any one thing, it's just good at everything, depending on what you need. For the transmission, those are the settings that we've gone to if you want to pause it on screen to double check in comparison to yours, but I haven't made too crazy of a change there. As far as the alignment, 2 degrees of camber on the front, none on the rear, 1.5 degrees of toe, of course, to help with the turn-in, nothing on the back. 4 degrees of caster. For anti-roll, 30.6, 25.2. You could round those off if you want to, if we just take that to 30 and 25, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. As far as the springs, 52.9, 32.9, or 52.4 I should say, and 32.9, so standard. The ride height I've left higher, so if you do go off-road, you've got that extra clearance. Depends on you though, you could change that if you wanted to. For the dampers, 10, 7, 5 and 4. Aero of course doesn't apply. Braking I haven't changed, I know people have their own preference there. I've gone for 10 on all for the diff, for acceleration and decel, and then 70% for the centre split. So that's it for the build. Like I said with the code earlier on, 164174662, you can grab exactly what I've done here, or you can copy this and change a few things around if you want to. Naturally, all that remains though is to jump out to the road. In fact, I'm going to show you in an event what the car can actually do in practice. And here in the event, this is actually going up against unbeatable drivatars, because I wanted to show you what it can do in practice, what the car really was like. So, in terms of handling, as I mentioned I believe earlier on in the video, this car is definitely better on-road than it is off, which isn't too surprising given that it has standard tyres. So it has the off-road suspension, so it doesn't bottom out or bounce around too much. It's, as I said, designed to be able to simultaneously switch between on-road and off-road driving in free roam and also in racing. So kind of like an all-purpose car. And this is probably the trajectory I will take with a lot of cars in future. Unless, of course, it's something like a supercar, then chances are I won't be building a rally car out of it, but you never know. But vehicles which are relatively easy to attain, certainly in the case of a barn find, it's not that expensive of a build to do. It's a lower class, and a lot of people overlook the lower class stuff, and in terms of being an all-rounder, well, you could definitely get a lot of use out of it. So if you do have one of these lying around, and maybe you're not using it, you don't really need the barn find, you could just grab it from the auction house anyway. So if you decide to use it, I hope you enjoy it. Stick around for the other build later on today, which is way quicker, but also a multi-purpose one, and of course, follow the channel here for more Forza builds if you want to follow it yourself, and you can follow me in the game on both the Xbox and the PlayStation with the gamer tag on screen. But for now, thanks for watching.